Okay, we're fully recording now. Hi, Maxine.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for doing this today. I so appreciate it. And this is just for you guys in the Mama Mastermind. We've been having such a great discussion and shares every week, Maxine. These moms are just like openly sharing what's going on for them, good, bad, hard, a lot of proud moments, a lot of like, wow, you go through that too, and oh, this isn't just me. And I think that's the beauty of the group. So
It's going exactly how you wanted it.
it is. You guys are exactly everything I ever wanted, because I just, it helps me so much when my experience is shared. And Maxine is such an expert. You can probably tell me why, based on my brain, it helps me so much that my experiences are shared. Everything that I tell Maxine, she's like, well, that makes sense because of this, and this. But anyway, I'm thrilled to have you here. I wanted to do a little interview for my ladies here with you, Maxine, because you have been so helpful for me on my journey of understanding Evie, my little one, and I wanted to introduce her to you guys with this specific topic because we all have our different little ones, and they're getting into and out of different patterns of things as they grow. And so most of the kiddos in this mastermind are pretty small, Maxine. Like most of them are, I think, 1 to 4 is who we have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, they're growing fast and changing every week, but I still think that even now these patterns would be really helpful to notice.
They are.
So just so you guys know, Maxine is by trade an occupational therapist, but what I have found is she does so much more. She's really into, how can we get the brain to do what creates the most success for the child and the household in the world. And oftentimes brains are just like, missing a step, like it just gets missed somewhere along the way because life isn't perfect. And you can often train the brain using the body. So that's why Evie has loved Maxine so much, even though she doesn't like her other therapist, but she loves Maxine because Maxine can often have you just do a body movement in a certain new way. And that puts the pathway on a path to growing. It doesn't it does happen in a moment, but it also starts the brain growing in that direction so that over the next week or two, that skill kind of comes online. So that's a little bit about her work. So today I wanted to talk to you more about what you taught me last week about brain dominance, which side of the brain is your most useful side, I guess, or your natural side, and then how that relates to body dominance, so right-handed, left-handed, etc., and how those different combos work.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just, I guess, do you want me to start with the Evie revelation?
I think that's an amazing revelation, yes.
Okay, I'll tell you guys. So I kind of shared this online, but Evie and I have different brain dominance styles, and I knew that because she is super logical, super literal. A lot of stuff is black and white. Although she is still creative. So it's not really about that, and you really help me see that. It's not about oh, if you're creative, you're right-brained. And if you're logical, you're left-brained. Right? That's not it.
Yeah. No, not entirely, no.
No.
It's more about how you process the information. Do you process it sequentially, or do you process it more, I want to say random, but that could sound bad. Random is a negative, can be a negative word, but it's not that it's negative. It's just that it does not have a predetermined sequence, the processing.
Okay.
from the right side.
Yeah, and so it took me hearing you say that several times that she's left-brained for me to really get through all the, I don't know, stuff that's out there in the media and like pop psychology and stuff. Like just the surface level stuff is out there, but it really does mean that, you know, one of your sides of your brain is especially on, and the other side is not during stress.
Yeah. The most times you have two sides and they contribute to the ability to complete a task in the most amazing way. You have a left side that processes in sequence. In other words, it decides when something starts, it decides what's next, and takes it to a finish. And the right side has a way of finding, oh, this thing could work, or this problem that you've hit here, if we added these pieces, it would solve this. Oh, and okay, so if we put it like this, it would be better. So your left side keeps the sequence running, so it goes from beginning to end, and it finishes. And your right side keeps it fluid and solves all the problems that your left side gets on the way. So when they're working together, that's actually the best system ever, because it takes you to the end of the project. You don't get stuck and you don't get lost. But under stress, one side just like takes a vacation. And that's what we're talking about when you're dominant. Which side is your dominant side? Is your dominant side the one that goes in order, or the one that finds the best solutions that could make you lost somewhere?
Yeah, and I think especially for this group of, I consider my moms like pretty intelligent people, like they're probably going to have both sides working most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, and what you just said to me today was, in fact, you may even feel good and better when you're using your non-dominant side. Like for me, I'm in the right side of the brain, very fluid and more random, but I actually feel really good when I can get a task done from start to finish. And one reason that may be is because I'm not stressed. I feel whole brained. It's working together. I have all my superpowers accessible, da da da. And
yes.
yeah. And so like you can't really tell which side of the brain you are based on what you enjoy or what makes you come alive even. It's really like where you go under stress.
Exactly. This is about stress processing. Like what happens when everything is under the gun, which is what happens in moms.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the story with Evie. So you also brought in this key of dominant hand. You know, I'm right brain right-handed. She's left brain right-handed.
Yes.
So language is over here in your left brain, the logical, quote unquote, more logical side, step-by-step side.
Yes.
And so when she gets under stress, she doesn't lose that. And especially because she's right-handed, if you think of like talking with your hands, her stress is going to come shooting right out her mouth. No problem, no block. Whereas my stress, because my left side shuts down, which your left side of your brain controls your right side of your body, I lose that. So I lose speech when I get really stressed. I'm like, I'm done. I need a break, which is exactly true for me. Like I'm out. And by the time I'm that stressed, like I'm really stressed and there's nothing you can do for me except give me a break. So, so now I'm getting too stressed, excited to talk. Like the way that this happened for me with Evie was like, oh my gosh, I am seeing her stress so late in the process. So late because I'm waiting for her to basically lose language until I really think she's super stressed.
And it's so not the case, because under stress, she still has access to language all the time.
Yeah.
And so your cues are different.
Totally different. And I mean, because she starts with like little comments, right, that build and build and get to name calling and get to really mean stuff. I mean, I hate to throw her under the bus, but she'll even say, I can't believe I said that to you, Mom, later on. And so, but I'm not swooping in with comfort when she's in the early stages, because I'm still like trying to, logic and reason and talk to her and let's negotiate this out. Let's think with our whole brain and like work out a solution. And like, she's so already gone from that I can actually start with my tools a lot sooner in the process to get her calmed down and get her regulated. Because I can see her stress in a different way now. I mean, I just really got this last week, so I'm still working out the details of that. But basically, that first, what appears to me as like an anxious comment, is when I know now.
Come in. Time to regulate. Time to co-regulate.
Yeah.
Time to sit there and be the external regulator for this child. I think what you've said is like absolutely crucial. The component that what is true for you, that your indicator for you, that when I lose my ability to talk, I know I've lost it. You were kind of projecting that onto Evie. So when she loses her ability to talk, then I'll know she's lost it. But that actually isn't the case, right? And this dominance thing is different in different people. Just because you're right-brained doesn't make you right-handed. You can be right-brained and left-handed, in which case, right, at that point, you would be able to access speech, because under stress, these two work together, and these shut off. So it doesn't really matter because your non-dominant went AWOL anyway. So if you are right-brained and left-handed, you'd also have speech, but you are right-brained and right-handed. So the side that controls that hand just disappeared, goes missing under stress. So its control function got switched off. It's like the controllers on a game, like, oops, gone.
Yeah.
So for you, your indicator is no speech, but for her indicator is not no speech. She has other indicators that say, I'm stressing. And the more she stresses, the more articulate she gets.
No kidding.
Because that's all she got.
Yeah.
That is
huge.
It's a useful thing to understand. Because you can get in earlier.
It's been so huge. And even just like the things that she said, I mean, I really was thinking like we had a long journey of, intense therapy ahead of us because of how hurtful those things are. But now I kind of picturing like they're pretty much just stress on steroids. And I mean, I'm admitting this to you guys, I was contributing to that. Because I was still holding the challenge or holding the boundary more, like trying to teach and negotiate and stuff when she was in stress. So I was just upping her to new levels of stress.
And I think that is the difference. Yeah. Sorry, we got that funny sound thingy going. I think that's the difference between upping the stress and co-regulating. Because what this gives you is the information of co-regulation needed versus challenge needed. Right. It allows you to be the adult and know, this is where my role is. My role is not challenge anymore. My role is co-regulation.
Yeah. Totally. I love that word, co-regulation, and I think there's a whole other talk we could do about that too. But to me, like, I have certain techniques to comfort her, and I just haven't been turning them on as soon as I need them. So, yeah. Okay, so how do you see this in a lot of moms happening? I know that I am an exception to a lot of your moms with my right brain. Tell us more about a common combo that you see.
The common combo that I see is a left brain mom with a right brain child. So a left brain mom likes things to happen in order. She has a sequence, she has a routine, she has a way to do things, and she can see the beginning, and she can absolutely see that this is going down this road and we're not going there, right? That's the structure of a left brain mom. But the right brain child brings in all sorts of other options. So I'll use myself as an example. I'm a left brain mom. I have a right brain daughter. So I'm trying to tell her, no jumping off the furniture. Like just don't. It's dangerous. So the child goes and jumps off the stairs, right? Because I didn't say don't jump off the stairs. The stairs are not furniture. And she was absolutely obedient. I'm like, oh God. The next thing I found, she jumped off the roof.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, are you kidding me?
Oh God.
But I said, don't jump off the roof. I had said, don't jump off the furniture. She never jumped off I was like, oh, and I couldn't think of all the options that she, as a right brain kid, would pull out. And I would give her, this is the line. And she'd go, oh, but we can bend it like this. And as a left brain mom, it drove me crazy until I got this, that my rigidity under stress and her chaos under stress clashed. And that clash produces defiance. And so in my clinic, because the child will not have skills, they'll melt down.
Right.
They will just go to the complete end of the world. You just destroyed their entire life. And in any case, what we've had to learn is that I cannot stay rigid, which means I have to get back to my whole brain so I can find my right brain so I can predict what activities are going to be drawn into the game here. And I have to make different sets of responses to a right brain child. I can't just expect you to do routine. I can't expect you to do chores in order. I can't expect mornings to run like clockwork. I can't expect clothing choices to make any sense. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean because it's cold you have to wear a hat. You might not, because there's no direct route between the cause and effect for right brain kids unless they're whole brained, right? So as my stress level, because things weren't going according to plan, went up, this chaos increased. And I think a lot of my practice is around this resolving this chaos. Like, how do I not be rigid? How do I create guidelines for chaotic function? And the melding point is creating whole brain function so that they both whole brain. And then you can actually sort out a reasonable system.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is so powerful to when you get it that someone is just playing by a different set of rules than you are. And it's just never going to make sense if you keep coming at it from your own perspective. So you have some pictures of kind of these differences to show. I think that would be really helpful. And also starting to get that it's not just brain dominance, but it's then what the brain controls on which side of the body, which controls different functions under stress. I mean, you can go down the list with which dominant ear you are, which dominant eye you are, which dominant foot you are, and all. So, okay, so yeah. So I've seen some pictures like this before, and it's so funny because as a right brain person, I'm just like, look at all the fun they're having on the right side. but it's possible that left brainers also be like, look how orderly, and like people are actually getting stuff done on the left side. Can start to see that now. I mean, is that what you think as a left brain? Like,
Yeah, I've looked at this picture so many times, and I look at that left side and I think, wow, things are finished. And I look at the right side and I go, oh, that looks so nice. And I kind of like up in this, oh, maybe I want to do both. I really like both. Like, I like getting stuff done, but I like doing fun things. I gravitate to both a lot of the time.
wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that and see that, like, see the benefits of the left brain. Even though I love left brain and I use it a lot, but you just got one. So, okay, and then let's go to the next slide, because this was the revelation for me last week, was that even though there's all these words about the different ones, the different things it can mean, the left side is sequentially processing things. It's processing one thing at a time. It gets done with that. It can then go to the next thing. And I think that is key for Evie, because I think I have sometimes like presented her with many different options of how we can solve this problem or how we can get through. And and it just spins her more out of control. Again, this is me thinking she's not that stressed, right? Oh, right. There's a couple options we could try. Which one do you want to try on today? La la la. And it's not helping her. She's over here.
So if I go there, I can go into my relationship with my husband, right? And like organizing the kitchen can be like sometimes. So I go in and I've got a sequence and I've got these things and I want to get finished and I want to get done. And he comes in with, I've already solved the problem, right? As far as I'm concerned, this problem is solved and I'm getting it done. And he comes in with 20 options. And it paralyzes me as a left brainer under stress to be given that many options in the middle of my stress, because I was going the next thing. I was already on task. I had the end in mind. I knew where I was going. And all this stuff just landed on my pathway. Now I can't get through it. Oh, mountain. And I think that is what happens to Evie under stress.
Yeah.
Is if she's stressed and she's already determined in her mind the end pathway, and the addition of all the options, it disintegrates. So if I take my son, it's the same thing. He has a plan, and God help me if we change it, right? If I change it and he is feeling stressed, I have to first make sure we're regulated, and then I can change the plan. I cannot change the plan until we're regulated and whole brained.
That is so key, what you said. Like, you can change the plan, but you have to be regulated first.
Yes.
Because, I find that sometimes, especially on a day where I've like said, hey, let's just relax and do whatever today, that can really produce anxiety for Evie, or it can just produce like, oh, well, if I'm the first one to suggest something, it's likely gonna get in the plan. So she will plan the whole day in 5 seconds. And I'll be like, whoa. Yeah. And then if I'm not careful, she can feel each thing that I can't do from that plan, right? Like, oh, we can't go to Elitch's and do a pouring painting and, dress up and, all these things, make spaghetti and stuff. Like, we can't do all of those things today. And sometimes, I don't know if this is her trauma or it could just be her left brain, like she will feel that as a punishment, or like, you're saying I'm bad because we're not going to be doing those, or something like that. And so I have to make sure we're connected and regulated first, like you're saying, and, then it goes a lot better.
Then you can negotiate.
Yeah, totally. She's great at giving and taking, getting and giving, when she's ready.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's actually true of most people, and it's true of most marriages, and it's true of most interactions, work projects, boss relationships, any actually. This doesn't just sit with children. It goes into everything.
Everybody. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. And do you think that people, speaking of that, do you think that kids like are born one way or the other, or do you think they develop in their first 2 years, 5 years, 10 years into left or right?
So as far as stress dominance, in other words, which way gets shut off during what, that is determined when the sperm enters the cell and it does its first split.
No way.
It is set up in that you've got left and right set up at that point. So
wow.
It's about stress processing, not about what you learned how to do. So
wow. Okay, so this is ingrained.
Yeah, it is there. It is, and so the interesting piece about that for me as a therapist is that we can have shut off in uterine if there are stresses during pregnancy. So that can already influence how a child is born and how they engage in those first few weeks when they're supposed to be bonding.
Wow.
And for many trauma-related children, so adoption kids, children in China, the Russian and the Chinese kids that are put into orphanages, all those things are influence structure right from pregnancy. And so they set up the pathways for function very, very early for stress function. And redoing them it's not that hard, but we have to redo them sometimes from birth, before birth.
Okay, so all right, I want to start to wrap this. Echoing. Do you hear that? Uh-oh.
No.
Why did it?
Please would you say that again?
Why don't I ask you to move to your next slide and see if it? Oh, there we go. It's gone now. I know we have one more slide here because this is what I wanted to, really point out that we were talking about before. Because one side of your brain controls the other side of your body, it depends on what skills get shut down during stress. And you told me about a combination that can also be extremely difficult, which is right brain, left ear, right hand.
Yes, that one is really hard because at that point, a child will hear everything that goes on, but won't be able to communicate what's going on inside them. So they kind of
right-handed.
The right-handed, right brain. That right hand, right brain combination shuts down their ability to say, I'm feeling stressed, to say, this is hard for me, to say what is going on. So the question usually is, well, what were you thinking? And the child has no way to express it. It's not that they weren't thinking, and usually you get the shrug. Like, I don't know. And the child looks checked out. And often in social circumstances, that's the child that just seems to sit with their mouth full of teeth, say hello to Uncle Johnny. And they run, right?
Sit with their mouth full of teeth. That's your
it's not American.
South African saying. That's adorable. I like that.
Yeah, so that combination, right brain, right hand, left ear dominance, will give you a child that cannot communicate. And these children often come up in speech. They get sent to speech therapy, and can't get it right.
Because, so you're saying left ear dominant. So if you're right-brained, is your left ear still working in stress?
Yes.
So they can hear.
They hear everything you say. They understand what is going on. They're right hand. So they can't actually tell you that what you're saying is hurtful, or, hey, that was not fair. Or they can't come up with saying, I need to do this. I need a break. Or Johnny's hurting me. It's the child that doesn't defend themselves in bully situations. They have limited verbal expressive access. They also struggle to write down what they're saying. So if the teacher tells them to tell a story, they struggle. They struggle to get things out, express themselves.
Interesting. During stress.
During stress.
So, what do you do when someone has, we can probably click off this slide here so people can see you.
We can go to the next one because that answers it.
Yeah. I just would like to give a little bit of,
So this is what you do. You do midline crossing activities.
I see. To get them more time when they're connected and move that stress back a lot, which is really, that's what you do for everybody. I mean, that's what you've done for Evie a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And so this is all your co-regulation, putting on music. It's amazing whole brain activity. Doing those postures that Amy Cuddy talks about, those power postures. That helps. This entire list at the bottom here, made by School Moves, totally helps. Doing brain buttons, holding your ears, pressing in your hands. There are lots of things you can do, and you don't always have to do, the child doesn't always have to do them. They can just see you doing them, and it can help.
Right.
So I have some people also, you can use humor. If you've got a child who gets humor and you can insert humor, you can use that. There are lots of little ways. These are just some ideas here, but there's lots of things that bring whole brain function. This is why yoga is amazing. It brings whole brain.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I'm not sure how long we've been chatting about this, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope it's a good intro for the mamas here, and just to think about this in a new way. I know you guys have probably heard something about this. I mean, it's out there, but I really have appreciated Maxine's much deeper, lots of layers down. That was a breakthrough for me. So maybe it is for you too. Of course, I'd love to hear about that. We do a Facebook group too, Maxine, so they'll have like a chance to comment. Yeah. And I really appreciate your time today, Maxine, for sure. Just telling it to me again, you need it again and again and again. At least I do.
And again. And you're not alone with that. You really are not alone. Some people 2 years later are still going, oh.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about this is that what it produces in people is patience.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
This concept allows you to go, this is not about me. This is not about my kid being an ass to me. This is about, we're doing different processing, and I can be okay. I can just have patience and grow with them.
Yeah, I really like that. In fact, I think that's what inspired me to interview you. You said this usually doesn't produce shoulds. It produces patience. It doesn't produce perfectionism. It produces space for imperfection. So that's what we are all about in the mastermind, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Talk to you soon, and talk to you too soon, Maxine.
Bye.
Bye.